Hello, Liam Horan is my name. I run Slínuach Careers, one of Ireland's leading career direction and coaching agencies. We help people get jobs. In effect, that's what we do. And today I want to look at a very interesting job which is currently up for grabs here in Ireland, and that is the position of Ard Stiúrthóir, our Director General of the GAA. Páraic Duffy has been in situ since 2007. His replacement will be selected and announced in the first few months of 2018. It's expected in April the appointment or the new person will come will take up the position. As somebody who's worked with clients going for and getting jobs like this, I want to take a look at this job in a little bit of detail, and I suppose the main purpose of this is to show that this is the work we do. We can work with candidates who are going for jobs like this, and to undertake by the by that we only work with one candidate in a race for any particular job. So the interesting thing about this job is that the person who will get this job is very unlikely to be an unknown. They'll already be heavily involved in the GAA. Páraic Duffy, for example, is a former chairman of Monaghan GAA board. He also headed the Games Administration Committee, as it was known then, in the GAA. So he was a significant local and national figure in the GAA. People who came close to getting that job last time, I understand, are former inter-county managers and various other people like that. So the person who gets this job won't just dream up an application now and apply and get the job, because the requirement is to fully understand the nature of the GAA, and it's a very complex organisation given that it caters for the high-level elite sport that we see in Croke Park throughout the summer, and also caters for the smallest GAA club in the country and the games that they play. So the Ard Stiúrthóir, our Director General, will need to know that, and so therefore by their very nature they'll be involved, probably have a profile already, and certainly have expertise and knowledge. But what they'll also have to have, and which is where we would work with somebody, is they'll also have the ability to convince the selection and interview panels that they have all the experience apart from just knowing the GAA. So for example, the job spec talks about leadership to full-time and voluntary teams across the association. Within that line there's a lot, because managing a professional team within an office environment is so different to managing a team of volunteers who may work on a coaching committee or on some review committee at Croke Park level for the GAA. So if you're going to show you can lead the GAA, you've got to be able to manage at both levels. Professional committees often work faster, voluntary committees work at a slower rate typically, but they also are populated by people who are very motivated, who are there because they love the sport, they love the GAA, etc. So you've got to understand the various types of teams you'll be working with, and more than that, for the purposes of this interview, you've got to be able to convince the selection and interview panels of that. And again, as I said, that's where we would work. You've got to understand national sports policy and GAA sports policy, the National Strategic Plan. You've got to understand the history of the GAA. You've got to show that you understand the history of the GAA. And you've got to show that you understand this particular crossroads in the GAA's history. As an organisation, the GAA tends to mark its anniversaries. For example, 1984, the 100th anniversary of the GAA centenary year, was a huge event. 125 was a big event. Already people are sitting to look at how the GAA is going to look on its 150th anniversary. So there's a whole lot of fact. I think that is that 1934 or 2034. I think it may well be, if I'm doing my sums correctly, but there is a committee looking at that as well. So, and the evolution of the GAA has been very striking, I suppose, from the very early stages right through to where it is now. And if the person who's going to lead the GAA in the future has got to understand that. So, for example, the GAA is now a big commercial wheel. Croke Park is a huge stadium, a huge generator of revenue and profit for the GAA. The GAA, the championship structures have changed quite dramatically in the last number of years, and will be subject to further change this year. The plight, so to speak, of club players in the GAA is such that a club players association has been formed, just as 20 or so years ago a Gaelic Players Association was formed to cater for inter-county players. So all these things are happening for a reason. There's pressure on the club versus county calendar. There's pressure on fixtures, dual players, where they're going to sit in the future. There's issues about integrating women's sports more fully into the GAA, which is something not just for the GAA itself, but for its sister organisations as well. So there's a whole lot of things that the next Director General of the GAA must be able to do. But to go back to the point of this here, in the application process, there is a whole lot of information specified in the advertisement for this by Lincoln Recruitment Specialists. And you've got to tick as many of those boxes as you can when applying for the job. Our speciality would lie in identifying those boxes, getting the best examples from you, challenging some examples you give us to see are they the very best ones, and also working with you to understand the exact nature of the role. So, what is the strategic vision of the GAA? We would certainly get ourselves up to speed fully on that as well. It's an area we would know reasonably well, no more than lots of GAA fans around the country. But what exactly is happening now? What is the next person going to embody or exhibit to be the leader of the GAA? For example, Páraic Duffy was a school teacher, a school principal, I think, in St. McCartan's College in Monaghan, I think. Whereas I get the impression from the job spec here that there's a more commercial type focus, management type focus in the position for the future. Liam Horan, the predecessor of Páraic Duffy, was a teacher as well. So maybe the GAA is now looking more towards commercial business knowledge, business experience. And I know last time out there were people with that kind of experience and knowledge in there. So we would work with you, preparing your application, preparing you for interview, if a presentation will be needed, getting you up to speed so that you can make a very, very strong application for this role. There will be a very strong field of competitors or candidates in this race, I would imagine. It's a very attractive job, one of the most high-profile jobs in Irish sport, and a chance to put your stamp on something that is, it's a landmark organisation in Ireland, and people respect and remember their Director Generals, right back to under different names of P. O'Keefe, Liam Horan, Sean O'Sheehan, and now Páraic Duffy as well. So it's a career highlight for whoever goes for this. And here at Slino Careers, we would certainly hope to help you. Just by way of establishing some bona fide, in a previous life I was Gaelic Games correspondent of the Irish Independent and have broadcast and reported on Gaelic Games matters for many, many years. I'm currently involved in Mayo GAA TV and local streaming.club, and I'm involved as well as part of the Mayo Senior Football Management team, as well as being involved in my own local club in Ballinrobe. All by way of saying we have some knowledge, some interest in this area, but we wouldn't take anything for granted. If working with you in trying to get this job, we will do plenty of research so that we can help you put your best foot forward. So call us on 094 95 429 65 or email liam.horan@slino@careers.com. Thank you.